Welcome to the Orecast, where we dive deep into what makes you truly awesome. I'm your host, Dorchester Koning, founder of Awe Academy. In every episode, we explore the power of awe, not just as a feeling, but as a tool that transforms how we learn, grow, lead, live, and love. As each guest shares what sparks their curiosity and how they work with wonder, we connect with a deeper sense of awe. So, take a breath and get ready for some interpersonal magic. Welcome to the Orecast.
Yeah, Amy Van Doran.
Van Doran. Yeah, it sounds like a Dutch last name, so it could be that your ancestors are Dutch.
So it was actually Amy Doran, and
Oh,
we added in the van
oh,
in
I
high
like it.
school.
I
In high
like it.
school, yeah, my friends were making fun of me because even though I'm from a trailer park and a junkyard in Florida, I've always had a slight affectation, and so they'd be like, "Ooh, Amy Van Doran,"
Oh,
but
yes. So it
it's
makes you
actually
sound more
more
um,
regal, more
more
regal.
regal. I
Mhm.
like it. Okay, so Amy Van Doren, you're a CEO and a head matchmaker at Modern Love Club. The name alone already makes me curious. We'll hear more about this in a minute. And it's a high-end matchmaking agency based in New York City. And you have interviewed over 20,000 single people. That is a lot to manage, even in a lifetime. So wow, I wonder how you do it. And your approach to matchmaking is a mix of life coaching, mindfulness, intuition, and results driven pragmatism. Big
Yeah,
words.
yeah.
And I wonder what this all means to you in your daily life as a human being. We met at Fatopia, and you're an interesting sight, not only because of the orange hair, but also because of the dog, Venus, that's always by your side, and because of the way you operate. So it fascinated me, and I really wanted you on the podcast, and you said yes. So here we are.
No, it was my dream to go on your podcast.
Great. I'm glad to hear it. So tell me about awe in your life. Like, what does it mean to you, and how does it play out?
It's funny. I was going to look up the exact definition of awe, and then I was like, you know what? Let's feel through it because a neat I didn't have like a neat working definition.
Mm,
But when I think of the word awe, I think of like there's these moments that are slightly outside of you that kind of stretch you beyond your limits of personness that
yeah.
kind of like are this kind of humbling sort of gobsmacking moment where
Mm-hmm.
you're like, wow,
Mm,
there's much more to all this than just like the eye experience.
right. Yeah. Yeah. And so, can you remember sort of when this started happening in your life, or when you started noticing this? Maybe you've always
Mm,
been like this.
filled with awe. I could do more awe. When I was thinking about this, I was like, I need to get my awe levels up. Um, I mean, my first experience of awe, or my most vivid experience of awe was I had some friends and I we went to this like cave of swallows in Mexico
Mm,
at the sunrise, and this cave is like miles and miles and miles deep,
wow.
like the deepest thing. You can't even see the bottom. And you can find like a Mexican guy that'll like tie you up by a rope and dangle you over the cave hole.
Oh
And
my
then for
goodness.
like 2 hours, like indefinite amounts, like millions and millions of birds kind of come washing out of this cave. It's like
Wow.
parrots and all sorts of birds, and they just like are like while you're like, hanging over this abyss. Um,
Wow. That must be an amazing
and
experience.
so that was like, that's like, because I don't like, when I think of awe, I think of like people that like climb mountains. I don't go up
Mm,
mountains, but I do like
right.
little caves and
Mhm.
abysses. Um, and so like when I think of awe, I definitely think of nature, and I'm like not that outdoorsy. So I was like,
Mm.
gosh, I should like go like climb a holy mountain, or like I need more
Yeah.
awe in my life. I think another experience of awe is when like you're truly in love, like the kind of love when you like look into their eyes and you feel like you're like on a psychedelic journey where you're just like looking into the eyes of the beloved and you're
Mm.
like, whoa, like you exist,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you, wow. And so, yeah, I think being in love is definitely a state of awe.
Yeah. And I think the way awe then closes off all judgment and or suspends disbelief in a way or suspends um, reality in a way as well. When you look into the eyes of the beloved and you all you see is love and amazement, how amazing this person might be, you forget that they're just a human with flaws, right? So I'm really curious about this love fascination that you have because of your work, but also in your private life. How does this work for you? Because I find love quite a complex thing to navigate and also an infinitely grand source of stuff we don't know yet,
Hmm.
stuff we cannot fathom, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a trip n negotiating love and then also like, telling people that I'm an expert on the subject, right? Like
Yeah.
20,000 interviews, I get to do talks, people pay me to give them advice and then yeah, and I it's been pretty much the my main focus for the last 19 years.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's tricky being a matchmaker, like navigating my own love life with all the information that I have.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a trip for sure. And it's funny because like I still struggle. Like I don't have all the answers, and I'm kind of like I'm in the trenches with my clients. And
Mm,
I think maybe if I had like solved love,
hmm.
maybe it would be less interesting to me. Like the reason why I'm able to
Yeah.
do 50 hours of active listening a week for 19 years and still like have the energy to do it is because I'm still super curious, confused, challenged,
Yeah.
enthralled, electrified by the stuff. Like it's just never going to get old because there's so many different ways in.
Yeah.
And the love is different. It's so different with every person, right? And so it's like if you have like ingredients A and you put it with ingredients B, C is always going to be different.
Yeah.
So there's no like one way to love, one experience of love, one answer to love. Like it's kind of an ongoing sort of for me, it's an ongoing prayer.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
I like to think that my life is sort of an altar to love.
Mm. Oh, I love how you say that. And that, I mean, even the word I just said, awe, it's moving in a way because you devote your life to also choosing to believe in a thing that love is, that it is possible, despite all the hardship that we see and despite all the disappointments people have been through, the heartbreak and the difficult relationships. So I also wonder when you speak to clients, when they come and find you and they are desperate to find maybe their one true love or a deeper love or at least more love in their life, how do you discover with them what they're really looking for rather than just a
Hmm.
matchmaking?
Yeah. I think that I wouldn't have so many matches if people came to me and they're like, all right, this is what I'm looking for. And if I just gave them that,
Hmm.
I wouldn't have like we have 300 marriages. Like I wouldn't have all that.
Yeah.
If I just listened and took like literally what people said and were
Hmm.
asking for. Like people are coming and they're like, I need to date a man who is worth at least $50 million and 6'4" and Jewish, but like loves my love of Christmas. Like they come to me with these crazy lists,
Yeah.
and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What about like someone who like you feel safe and cared for and seen by?
Hmm.
Um, like all of that stuff doesn't matter if it doesn't feel good, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so part of my work because people have been doing online dating and they've kind of treated love's like a capitalist marketplace.
Yeah.
My work is to undo a lot of that stuff, right? Like
Yeah. To
um,
unswipe it, maybe even.
unswipe it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
like humans are not orders from Amazon. Like I don't
Exactly.
have a printer machine and even if I did have 6'4" Jewish who loves your relationship with Christmas worth $50 million, it's this, and this. Like, it doesn't really matter if that guy's not interested in you, you
Yeah.
know?
So true. Yeah. So then how do you start the conversation about the deeper layers that they might be looking for, but they're not telling you?
Um, well, so I write down everything, and everything that they're asking for is definitely noted.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I'll ask them like, well, what does that really mean that they need this much money? Like, what does that kind of symbolically feel like for you? Or what is it about like there's something with your like just trying to figure out the why
Yeah.
to why people think that that's the search because sometimes it's just like oh that we just thought that that's what we were supposed to do and we
Right.
hadn't really unprogrammed ourselves from like the Disney movies that we grew up watching.
Yeah.
um yeah.
So do you think that you yourself are also very much influenced by the Disney movie story that we got presented? Or how
Mm,
would you say you weaned off of that? Or how did you outgrow it, maybe? I don't
I
know.
mean, I'm always and I'm always in progress. And I'll have like one bit with matchmaking for like, a year, and then the next year I'll be like totally like actually, monogamy's in, poly like every I'm like constantly just like totally wrong and kind of just tearing down just like I never just get to rest. It's always
Mm.
just like tearing it down from and then like building it back up and then tearing it down again. Yeah, so Disney movies right now, no. I mean, do I believe in love?
Hmm.
Yes, absolutely. A Disney movie for me, no. No, no Disney movie for me.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a little boring.
It is. It is. Yeah. And I think still though, many people are after that kind of a thing, like a long lasting, kind of always um, very, I guess, passionate and fulfilling love relationships. And I think this is kind of not how relationships work in the first place.
Yeah.
So then as a matchmaker, you would have to know quite a bit about relationships as well and how to build them and so do you also do therapy sort of for these people almost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk to my clients once a week, every week for 6 months.
Wow.
Sometimes they get together and I'll know like ahead of time, like, okay, this person came in with an avoidant attachment system. This person came in with an anxious attachment system around the 3 month period. That stuff's going to start to pull up. And
Right.
so for me, it's not just the work of, oh, I found this great match. It's also the work of saving relationships. There's so many relationships. Wait, let me get this dog. There's so many relationships that like gosh out in the wild would have never happened
Yeah.
without sort of this like nosy matchmaking team being like hey actually like please go on a second date with this person like maybe they weren't like the best first date but they're an incredible person to know long term
Yeah.
and almost everyone that got married last year they were all people that I was like please just give this person a second chance and now they're like madly wildly in love but
Wow.
in out in the wild that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Or couples that like maybe the guy became avoidant and
Mm.
and the woman's like freaking out and then out in the wild like maybe they would have like stopped communicating but we could
Mm.
actually kind of fix a good relationship because we can predict these things.
Wow. So you help both sides of the match, right? You talk to both. Do you then also talk to them together once they start dating? Do you also keep track of,
I
kind
mean,
of keep in
yeah,
touch?
so I have no qualifications for that at all, but I have.
In a way,
I
like
always,
speaking to 20,000 people, I can
it,
say you're qualified.
yeah, but I'm not I'm not a therapist. But yeah, if people ask me to like talk to both of them, I've always, I'm only a matchmaker because people ask me to keep doing it. If they
Mm.
stop asking me to do it, I will go do something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, if people ask me to do things, if I can do them, I generally try to.
Yeah. And then so suppose this all came to an end and people said, oh, we don't need matchmakers anymore because AI will do it for us. I think this is coming.
Okay.
But I don't know if this is going to be as good as you are because you are very human and also you have an attentiveness towards these people that I don't think AI will do in that kind of a way. But then suppose your work was no longer necessary. What would you turn to? Like what would you start doing
Well,
for yourself?
I think I will be doing it. So
Mm.
sort of the 20 years of matchmaking and like hearing everyone's stories, we're in a loneliness crisis.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's
Yeah.
getting worse.
Mm.
Um, there's not, there's the male to female ratio is like really not working. The
Mm.
systems are rapidly falling apart. The solution to all this is communities.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
met you in a community. I'm starting a community in Mexico City.
Yeah.
And so yeah, just kind of, all of my life the matchmaking has been supported by all the communities that I've built.
Mm.
And so the next chapter is, going to be me testing out instead of like one-to-one matchmaking, like what's it like to matchmake a house, not romantic,
Mhm.
but like all the personality types and figure out like how do I choose like 11 people that I'm signing a lease with and will probably live with for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And so
That's
that's kind of
a big
that's
task.
yeah. So instead of like one to one, I'm kind of like in the crazy psychological level of community matchmaking. And then
Wow.
I hope to represent. I've always loved working with female surrealist painters. I'm really excited to be a part of like the Mexico City art world.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be my and I've always done that. So yeah, I think cool, surrealist, witchy Mexican city female painters is going to be kind of my jam.
Oh, it
Um,
sounds good.
yeah, and then I want to do bird watching. I love
Mm.
birds.
Oh, so this also shows me that what you said before is like I need more awe in my life, and it's not just going to an amazing cave with a big, big flock of birds, but it's also just seeing that one bird in the tree in a forest when you're on your own with your maybe with Venus there too. But just those tiny moments of awe are just as incredible, I would say, as the wow moments. And I feel like as humans, we tend to stack these. We want to stack amazing experiences one on top of the other, so that the next one has to be kind of more wowy than the one before. And there's a sort of an addiction to this rush of awesomeness, and then we have stories to tell, like I've been there and I've been there and done that and seen that. And sometimes the kind of the meaningless but tiny, beautiful moments are so fulfilling. And I think this goes for love as well. And I was
Mm.
wondering how you see this. Like, is love this big, big emotion that we should feel wow about somebody and we should feel like attracted and fascinated and whatever and willing and safe and all of these things, or is it also in the subtle, more subtle?
Yeah, I mean, I think for anything to be durational, I think that if we were, blowing out our third eye every day, like that would be pretty exhausting. And so, yeah,
Yes.
I mean, right, like love, God, all of it, it's just presence to the
Mm,
moment, this moment. And if
yeah,
you're really in tune to this moment, then it's just over and over again, returning to it,
yeah.
letting it be new. And it's not like, oh, we're making out in front of the Eiffel Tower. It's like, oh, like a cup of tea in
Yeah.
bed, or like, watching like their face while they're asleep, or
Mm,
just like, yeah, I think the subtle is really what I'm interested in. And
yeah.
so even when I was thinking about coming on this podcast, I'm like, oh, I don't really climb any mountains. I still haven't seen a volcano. I'd like to see a volcano, but I'm like, but I am like constantly in the state of awe. But it's like
Mm.
while washing the dishes here at Fatopia, like I'm never happier than when I'm just like in the dish room, just like looking at each little plate and scrubbing. Like, and people get so cranky about the dishes here, but I'm like, what a treat it is that I get to thank each plate and like really kind of be present with it. And I think that is the secret to love, is just staying present, and also
Yeah,
know that things happen in seasons, right? Like you might
yeah,
have a great season, and then the next season maybe the love is not the star of the show. Maybe it's your professional output or keeping your child alive, or
yeah.
like there's seasons of things, and kind of know like, okay. And also like, I don't know, like I haven't, I'm not married. I haven't I haven't solved all this.
Mhm.
I don't know the secret to making love stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know yet. I'm still kind of living these questions.
Which I think is really beautiful, the way you are always open to what else love can teach you, and also living, being a part of
facilitating love, you could say, between people that you match, and then learning from just being the observer or being um, close enough, but not in it. I think it gives you a different value and maybe a different experience of many types of love. Like I think love shape shifts and changes color and dimension and all of these things that we might not think about love, but I think love is in that sense very cannot be captured, which is why there are so many songs and poems and artworks about love because it cannot be captured.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I definitely learned so much. I am learning so much more from my clients than they're
mm.
probably, they don't know. Don't tell them. But I'm learning so much from them every day.
Yeah.
Like they're really, and I get to see like, they send me pictures of them and their new relationships.
Mm.
Um, one of my favorite clients from last year who she was a little bit older, and I set up with a guy in his 70s, and they're like truly madly deeply in love chemically for the first time. And, I thought it was so sweet because they're talking about how they're gonna like grow old and die together, and
Oh,
how she can trust him to like make sure that she's gonna have a pleasant, death experience. And like
mm.
having someone that's there for that, like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's romance to me. I mean, it might
Oh,
not be
absolutely.
glamorous, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and so like maybe some of my clients come in at a different stage in life and they're like, oh, like I want a glamorous wedding, or,
Yeah.
this perfect child and this house and the thing, or this Instagram it looks cool on Instagram. But for me, like hearing like, oh yeah, like she has her buddy that like they're gonna like fall apart together and
Mm.
have like all this grit and like resilience and like,
Yeah.
become incontinent, like that's super fucking sexy to me.
Don't know if
Like,
it
like,
is.
I like, I'm like, I like, who's gonna change my diapers? Yes, let's go.
Wow. I think this, I find it difficult to imagine that being incontinent could be sexy, but at the same time, being cared for by somebody you deeply trust, no matter what, I think that's where I think whatever happens, whatever it looks like, it could be so beautiful to be able to hold that together.
Yeah.
And go through that together. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that it's just such a um, different way of being together than the romantic ideal. Um,
I had interviewed a woman who said that she was taking care of her husband in like his final stages of life. And as he was passing away with the hospice nurse there, they had like a breathwork practice they would do together. And as he's passing away, they do their breathwork thing and it's like, and then he smiled,
mm,
and she's like, oh, weird. Like that's usually like the sex breath work thing that we do. And so he passes away, and the hospice nurse was like, "Hey, do you want to wash your husband off down there?" And when she went to do that, she found more cum than they'd ever produced together in their entire life. And so he was, through this breathwork practice, by having this partner that was lucid and able to hold the container, he was
mm.
able to have probably the greatest ejaculation of his life while he was exiting this mortal plane. And I was like, that's
Wow.
punk. Like, yeah, that like I want that.
Wow, that is, yeah, that is something like we don't hear about this often because it's so intimate, but it's so beautiful to be able to share a moment of passing in such a life, such a life-giving way, like an alive way. Because sexuality and sensuality and the flowing feeling of life that pulses literally through our bodies is a beautiful thing to be able to experience as a human and also have a level of consciousness about it. I mean, part of it is letting go, and part of it is knowing that this is a place and a person with which we can experience this, with whom we can experience this. So I think that's a beautiful example of, I guess, a death full of love. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
I'm into it.
And when you think about the phase of life that you're in, does how does love and how do love and awe play a role in your phase of life now?
Yeah. I think for a long time, I was like last year I was 39, and then this year I turned 40. And I was really like, I'm going to get married, and like this is my like last, because I've been so brainwashed by my industry, by myself, by hearing people's fear, taking on their fear about aging, about being a woman. And I like, by the time I got to 40, I was just like a shivering, shaking mess. You know, I got quickly engaged to someone. And then, of course, anytime you do anything in a panic, you know, that doesn't tend to work out great for long-term success.
Right.
And yeah, so I mean, the phase that you know, so worried about, like, even though like like a, I've never been typical. I've never done anything typical. I wasn't raised typical.
Mm.
Typical people would probably not appreciate this. But I was like, I have to get married before I was 40. And then that fell apart.
Mm.
And what a gift.
Mm.
What a gift. Because I get to continue to be radically myself and
Yeah.
build a house with my favorite people on earth
Mm.
um and just fall, you know, I'm always falling in love.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just like I feel like I'm just like in love all the time. And then sometimes a person comes by and then I can like go deeper into it.
You
But
can add them into that.
yeah, exactly. But
Right.
it's I'm almost trying to occupy it like without having to put another person to depend on another person in order to give that back, you know.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's fascinating to me as well because I think we learn to become quite individual and quite hyper independent, you could say. And at the same time, we would really like the deeper connection with a single person or sometimes with multiple people. And it takes a lot of bravery to go there. And also, you lose something. Like you said, it's a gift that you now can continue being radically yourself, which means you didn't get married before you were 40, but you do have choice in how you live your life and who you live your life with. So I don't know where I'm going with that sentence, but something about this, the way you shared it, really stood out to me, like the way we can long for this significant other, but also the way we can be so in love with life, being who we are and meeting people along the way and including them and then departing from them again. And it can be such a beautiful meandering as well, just being fully yourself. And I wonder if that's possible with a significant other. I'm not so sure.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
You know, I just
You better think so because you do matchmaking.
I know. I mean, it was rough in December, right? Like
Mm.
single matchmaker, broken engagement, Christmas all alone.
Oh, yeah.
That was, you know, and then still doing like matchmaking coaching calls
Oh my
and
gosh.
like being like, is it, you know, like there's definitely moments where I have crises of faith.
Yeah.
And I'm super thankful I've moved past that.
Yeah.
Yeah, December was rough going for sure.
Mm.
Um, but I do think it is possible to be radically, but I do think that the quality of your love is sort of the quality of your own personal development, right? Like if you have a superficial search, you'll get a superficial love. And like, you know, the
Yeah.
people that got these Omega loves, they were already 95% up the mountain of like personal development before they got to me. And so they were
Right.
already eyes
Yeah.
wide awake. And,
Yes.
you know, and even though it's like a smaller sect of the population that has gotten to that level of like consciousness and understanding and radically shredding off the layers of knowing oneself, the realness. But
Hmm.
if you can get to that on your own, then
Yeah.
that person that's also there, you can see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
They're looking back at you, and then you can go the rest of the hike up the holy mountain, I guess. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Oh,
you don't get that without, you know, really being put through the fire, right? Like
yeah.
it's the process of becoming a diamond, I don't think is an easy one.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
so, you know, all of the hardships that we've been giving and all the challenges ideally are going to pay off with
Yeah.
an experience of sort of a divine love. And it might be with another person, it could be with God, it could be with your dog, it could be with your community, it could be with your art practice.
Yeah.
But that deepening, the deeper you go,
Yeah.
you know, that's as great as the relationship can be.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I love that idea that it pays off. Like it can be hard being alone for a long time. It can be hard going through breakups or divorces. It can be so hard even connecting with people on such a deep level. And at the same time, yeah, it will shape the diamond that you are, right? So I love the way you've positioned that, and I think there's a lot of wonder in relating in the first place. How do we connect with people? Why do we connect with people? What is our attachment style, and how does it feed into all of this? I mean, there's so many layers to unravel as in becoming, and we're never finished. So
We're never finished. You don't just do the work once and then you're like, we're good. Like you
yeah,
just keep tearing back the,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think many relationships don't survive that that layer work. And at the same time, maybe that's sometimes really good that they don't survive, so people can move on and go beyond it, I guess, in a way, and take the learnings from that relationship with them into the next one.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of great examples of people that put freedom and personal development above security, right? Like people that put security above those things, they tend to stay in relationships for long periods of time.
Yeah.
But the cost is their journey on earth,
Yeah.
like less, they're seeing less, they're doing less. And like, of course, like in their safe bubble where they're guarding their relationship and they're holding on to it, like, the relationship can last longer, but yeah, you've gone on less of a journey of like becoming who you are supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And in a way, just to relate it back to awe, I think you also are not allowing as much awe in your life, because awe comes with difficult feelings as well. It's like, oh, and awful and awkward, and also awesome and wow and bewilderment and all of this. So there's layers to awe as well. It's not as easy as the 3-letter word. Same with love. It's 4 letters, but it's so complex and it's so layered. So yeah. Yeah, I think we've nearly reached the end of the recording. So are there any words of inspiration you'd like to give to the listeners?
I think that things can only exist if you give them the opportunity to exist. And so I just, we're in a time where people are down on love and they're feeling very cynical and heartbroken. And I understand that makes sense. But if you can just like let a little of the light in, and just for a moment, even if you're feeling like a loss of faith, if you could just start by just pretending that you believe that love is real and it is possible for you, then I think it gets you one step closer to actually being able to have that love.
Yeah. So by suspension of disbelief again, like rather than being cynical and saying, "Oh, I've seen so much of it go wrong," allowing for the opportunity of the magic to happen in your life.
Exactly, because the magic is only going to show itself to those that believe,
Yeah. Great. And is there any song that comes to mind or that you play a lot that really inspires this?
Yes.
Oh, great.
My favorite song is Claire de Lune. Do you know Claire de Lune?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's sort of, it starts off kind of like in one way, and then the classical music kind of jumps off the abyss, and then you're sort of like floating in space. And that's always kind of, if I'm, if I have a friend that's like doing psychedelics and I like really want to give them like an excellent, an excellent moment, I'll just like slide Claire de Lune in, and it seems to be a great hit for inspiring awe.
All right. Well, I'll definitely add it to the show notes and let people listen to that and go deeply into the experience. Great. Thank you so much, Amy, for sharing your story and your insights on love and your expertise. And we will be sure to add your website to the show notes as well, so people can find you for this matchmaking stuff. And it's a wrap. Thank you very much for listening to the Orecast today. My name is Dorchester Koning. I'm the founder of O Academy, a center for professional and personal development through training outdoors and with art. If you're interested to know more, look me up on oacademy.live.